I should be sleeping, but I wanted to make this video. So I'm watching Attack on Titan for the second time, binging it so I can actually see everything and be able to comprehend it, because the first time around I was lost because the time gaps were too large and I just didn't know what was going on. And my husband, who has not watched it through, is watching it with me. I just watched the episode where they're at the Battle of Shiganshina, where they go on the mission to seal up the walls. And now it's come down to the critical moment where Levi has to decide who he's going to give the Titan serum to. And during this moment, I am crying, and my husband asks me, why is this so emotional for you? It's because this moment, this critical moment, involves my top 3 favorite characters: Captain Levi, Commander Armin, and Armin. Of course, you know, there are other people there, but it involves my top 3. So like I said, this is the moment when Captain Levi has to determine who he's going to give the Titan serum to. And why am I traumatized in this moment? I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you, okay? So in this moment, 2 of my 3 favorite characters are KO. One of them is literally cooked. My conscious favorite that is remaining, Levi, has to decide which one that he is going to save. Now, in this moment, Mikasa is like clearly representing the emotional weight of this awfully critical moment, and she has to be physically restrained by Hanji, and Captain Levi is standing on business and logic as usual. You know, that's not anything new. Mikasa being emotional isn't really anything new either. But anyway, so Captain Levi, Mikasa, and Eren have all started grieving the deaths of people that they're very close to. Then they find out that these people are still alive. So they're filled with hope and expectation, you know, like, oh great, they're not gonna die, only to like literally have this hope ripped away from them moments later by the dilemma of having to pick which one of them they're going to save, because there's only one syringe of Titan serum. So in this moment, like I felt the absolute turmoil of this moment. So I'm sitting on the couch crying, and my husband's like, what's wrong with you? He didn't say that. He asked me why it was so emotional for me. Now, I don't really know how to explain this, but I was sad for Mikasa and Eren, but I was even more sad for Captain Levi, because like there was no wrestling between emotion and logic for him like there was for Mikasa. Like I think he probably feels more deeply than everybody else, really, and then he just bottles it up until it's time to be a deadly fidget spinner again. Now, what do I really think influenced his decision in the end? Like, I know where there was a moment where after Levi chose Armin instead of Commander Erwin, where he said that in the end, when he had finally been set free from this hell, we were about to bring him back for more. But I think it's time we let him rest. Like, because even when Commander Erwin was KO and like having his life flash before his eyes, he was still moving. And it reminds me of that episode in Naruto where Rock Lee is still trying to fight Gaara, and he's unconscious, and then like God Sensei's all devastated and whatever. But he was still moving while he was KO, like with the death rattle and everything, like still driven by his dream, even though he was basically dead. But I think that the biggest deciding factor was that Armin's dream went further than Commander Erwin's. Like, it was still personal, but it literally went outside of the walls. Like, he had to go outside of the walls in order to realize this dream, whereas Commander Erwin's was limited to Grisha's basement in Shiganshina. Like, the commander himself even said that everything that he had done up until before his final moments was so he could prove that he was right, and because he wanted to see what was in that basement. Like, he even told Levi that after he achieved his dream, he didn't know what he was going to do, and he wouldn't know until it happened. So like I just said, Armin's dream still needed to be realized, and it wouldn't be until they were outside the walls, whereas the commander's was just a coward's leap away, and that's what he said. So beyond this battle, Armin would still have the drive. He would still have his dream to drive him forward. Like, whereas Commander Irwin's like motivation, like, would it have stopped in the basement? Like, once he saw it, like, there wasn't really any guarantee that he would be driven, that he would have the resolve that he had, like, after his dream was realized, because everything he'd done up until that moment was so he could realize that dream. So we don't know if he would have been the same. Anyway, so I'm sitting there crying because Commander Irwin's gone. Like, because I really enjoyed seeing his resolve, like, despite the countless lives, lost for a personal dream. But I was never mad at the dream because it got things done. Like, it was pushing humanity inside of the walls forward. Like, it got things done. But I do believe that if Commander Irwin had not told Captain Levi about his dream, then Captain Levi would have chose Commander Irwin. I'm also crying because I'm relieved that Armin is alive, because I find him relatable. Like, I like that he's conflicted about harming people, and he's like this pure and genuine person to me. That's the way that I perceive him. Like, he's very empathetic and emotionally intelligent, and I love him. So when my husband was getting ready for work, I asked him, I was like, so you didn't feel that? Like, you didn't feel anything in that moment? Like, and he just says, no. And he chuckles. Should I? Huh? But anyway, that's it.